Hey guys, welcome back to the Prehistoric Life Podcast. In the finale to our tournament, we have finally made it this far, and this has already been done by Goji Center. They're one step ahead of me. So today we have Triceratops versus Ankylosaurus for the victory match. We're going to start off with, I'm going to start off with Ankylosaurus, because I need to touch on something very specific at the end with Triceratops. So Ankylosaurus coming in at 3 meters tall, which is about 9.8, 10-ish feet. Coming in at a whopping 11 meters in length. Ooh, what is going on? 11 meters in length, which is about 36 feet if you want to get into freedom units. It weighs between 4.8 and 8 metric tons, or about 5.3 to 8.8 short tons. And Ankylosaurus, as we know from the 8 episodes before this with Ankylosaurus, can swing its tails with up to 14,360 newtons of force. So Ankylosaurus is a absolute monster, a living tank with a bone pulverizer, as I keep saying, and it's going to put up a heck of a fight. And it has this very powerful and very durable osteoderms that will really help it out in this fight. But its underbelly is unprotected. And that is something I want to touch on with Triceratops in a second here. But first, let's get the basic rundowns for Triceratops. Hang on. So it comes in at a whopping 4 meters in height. So Triceratops is taller, which is about 13-ish feet, and 9 meters in length. Now, length doesn't necessarily help anybody considering Triceratops, but it will help Ankylosaurus by giving it a better reach. Triceratops, it doesn't really affect, because, if it's long or if it's super long or super short, it doesn't really matter because it's not using another appendage. It's using its head. So it's got to get close and put itself in some kind of danger within reason. Coming in at a weight of 6 to 10 metric tons, or 6.6 to 11 short tons. Now, this is something that I want to touch on before we get into that. Ankylosaurus is shorter, Triceratops is taller. Ankylosaurus is longer and weighs more. But this will be the determiner for them all. What type of Triceratops we use. It hasn't really made a major impact as of right now. This far, but this specific fight will actually depend on what kind of Triceratops we pick. If we do Triceratops horridus, where its horns go like it is now, and they go down a little bit and then back up, it will have a much greater chance. If we choose Prehistoric, where it's much straighter and doesn't really have that curve, it will have a worse off chance. And since this is horridus, and I'll go through the fight with both of them. How about that? That's what I'll do. We'll do horridus first and then Prehistoric second. So before we dive into these double fights, let's go ahead and get a word from our sponsor real quick.
Thanks, Podcast Eric. Now let's talk about today's sponsor, Dinosaur Trips. If you love looking at these amazing creatures that I show you and even talking about these amazing creatures that I talk about, and you want to go see them in real life, I heavily suggest you look at Dinosaur Trips. Dinosaur Trips, created by Zach, gives you behind the scenes in look at museums, and he even takes people out to digs. So if you sound interested in that, go to www.dinosaurtrips.com and tell them that Prehistoric Life sent you, and they will give you $250 off your tickets. And here's their Instagram if you're interested in giving them a follow.
So we'll start out this fight with Horridus, an Ankylosaurus, and a Horridus meet in a field. Horridus notices the Ankylosaurus snorting at it, drawing its leg back like it's about to charge. Ankylosaurus, preparing for battle, turns sideways and lowers its body, getting its tail up in the air, preparing. As the two begin the fight, or as the two basically see each other, the fight begins. Horridus lowers its head and charges in. Now, this is a very specific reason why this is dangerous for Ankylosaurus. Ankylosaurus swings, hitting the frill, missing the face, hitting the frill. But Horridus's horns go under Ankylosaurus. They get under Ankylosaurus because they dip down. They dip down, so they get under Ankylosaurus, stabbing up into its body. As Triceratops backs out and jerks its head, guts and blood and organs spill out of the giant holes left in the Ankylosaurus. Stunned, the living shield swings its arm, hitting Triceratops in the shoulder, dislocating and shattering its shoulder. But this doesn't stop Horridus. Horridus takes its horns back and just jams them back up under Ankylosaurus, trying to flip it, trying to lift it with its head. But Ankylosaurus weighs too much. That's not going to happen. But its horns are still lodged inside the Ankylosaurus as Triceratops Horridus just jerks its head around, tearing open the wounds even more. Ankylosaurus slams its club against the side of the Horridus, really injuring it, cracking its ribs. But Ankylosaurus is also bleeding out on the horns of Horridus. It doesn't really know what's going on. It's never really had a major attack from the underside like this. As Horridus backs away, limping the best it can, it backs away as Ankylosaurus tries to go after it. Its intestines and everything just spill onto the ground. Ankylosaurus collapsing, bleeding out as Horridus leaves to go heal the best it can. So this is what I'm talking about. Horridus has the proper technique, has the proper hornage to take down an Ankylosaur by getting the way its horns are shaped. It's like a weird Nike check mark. It's going to be able to go slip under the Ankylosaur and stab into it. And that will really cause some damage for the Ankylosaur. But as we know, like I said, Perorsus is next. So I will do a fight with Perorsus. The lone Triceratops and Ankylosaurus meet eyes. The Triceratops snorts, drawing its Perorsus draws its leg back like it's going to charge. Ankylosaurus turning sideways, lowering its body, smashing its club tail into the ground, challenging it. As Perorsus charges in, its horns not dipping down enough as it slams into the back of Ankylosaurus. Ankylosaurus taking its club tail, smashing into the frill, shattering part of the frill. As Perorsus backs up, Ankylosaurus then swings its tail again, hitting the tip of the nose, shattering, just breaking it off. No more nose spike. Triceratops goes in again, slamming its horns, locking them into the osteoderms. It's not doing anything. Ankylosaurus takes its tail and swings it around, shattering the shoulder of Triceratops. As Triceratops tries to get its horns under Ankylosaur, it's not able to. It backs up, getting ready to charge, but it doesn't back up far enough. Ankylosaur swinging its tail, smashing it into the side of the face of Triceratops, shattering it, making one of the horns fall down, basically fall off. Just the skull's so broken, the horn just falls. The other horn, it tries to charge in with it. Ankylosaurus is not messing around. It swings its tail, smashing into the face of the Triceratops sending shrapnel into its brain. Just as the Triceratops stumbles back, it bleeds. It bleeds from the side of its shattered face as it slowly collapses to the ground, bleeding out, dying. Ankylosaurus snorting, walking off in victory. So this is the key. So this is a draw. I know this is a cheap out to be like, I don't actually have to pick one, but it is a draw depending on what you do. If we go with Horridus, Triceratops takes the edge. If we go with Prehistoric, then Ankylosaurus takes the edge, and the Ankylosaurus is the victor. So this is kind of a cop-out ending, but for whichever one you prefer, Horridus or Prehistoric. So if you like Ankylosaurus, you get to win. If you like Triceratops, you get to win. It just depends on what kind of Triceratops we're dealing with. So at the end of the day, it's a bloody draw. It's a very bloody draw. They both bleed out in some way, gored, smashed to bits. It's a bloody finale to a grand tournament of gore and blood. And that's all I have to say to that. So if you want to see more content from me, go check out my Instagram. I post reels and normal posts and all that on there. If you want to see my content 2-ish days in advance, go check out my YouTube, Prehistoric Life Podcast. I try to post everything 2-ish days in advance to everything else. And if you want all of that in one place, go check out my website, prehistoriclifepodcast.com. From there, you can get to my YouTube and my Instagram. From here, you can also just search for a specific post if you want. If you really want, you can scroll down and get to my Instagram. That way, do what you want, do what you need, do whatever gets you where you need. But till next time, I'm your host, Eric Crawford, signing off. This has been Prehistoric Life Podcast, and remember, keep it prehistoric. Bye.